We're here because we all know how important our local roads are across our region, but especially here in Kingston. Safe and reliable infrastructure is the basic building block for healthy, prosperous communities, and our highway departments are the ones on the front lines, fighting to keep our aging infrastructure working for all of us. For our first responders rushing to an emergency, for families in school buses bringing kids to school, for people heading into our storefronts, or for residents trying to just make it to a doctor's appointment. And when we invest in our roads, we are in turn creating pathways into the middle class because we are directly helping residents get to work and to school safely on time. That's how we all need to think about our aging upstate infrastructure, in those moments when we're fighting for increased investment. And those needs of our residents are what I brought to budget negotiations this year. For those who don't know, there are 3 long-standing state programs that are critical to the city to maintain their roads. The Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program, otherwise known as CHIPS, Pave New York, and Extreme Winter Recovery. We fought hard not only to restore funding to these programs, which were under severe threat of cuts, but to ramp up infrastructure spending as a whole. And I'm happy to stand here today and report that we've delivered. We created a record level of funding for CHIPS, a program that hasn't seen an increase in nearly a decade. This year, it will receive an increase of $100 million. And here in the city of Kingston, they will receive $739,000 of that. We also have Pave New York, which will receive an additional $50 million this year, which is a 50% increase compared to last year. And Kingston's share of those funds is over $203,000. And for Extreme Winter Recovery Funds, that bucket will see an increase of $35 million, which is an increase of 53.8% from last year's budget. And here in Kingston, we'll receive $143,000 in Extreme Winter Recovery Funds. We are thrilled to announce today that the budget also includes a newly created initiative to help our localities offset the cost of maintaining state roads that fall within their jurisdictions. This new program is the City Touring Routes Program, and I'm happy to share that the City of Kingston will be a beneficiary of this new fund. The city is set to receive more than $1.3 million to ensure that our state-owned roads are pothole-free and kept in good working condition for all of us. Our local governments have historically been expected to fund upgrades and repairs along these routes on their own. But thanks to this new budget initiative, the state is reducing that burden and is driving the needed investments to cities like Kingston to help maintain state touring roads. Funding our infrastructure is about keeping each other safe. It's about making sure that our residents can focus on getting to work, on visiting a loved one, or on a quick trip to a grocery store, instead of what route they should take for fewer potholes to spare their vehicle. These investments are also imperative to our Build Back Better strategy. If Kingston, and New York State as a whole, is going to succeed economically, we need to protect and rebuild the foundation of our local infrastructure. Because when we invest in our roads, we invest in job creation. More shovels on the ground mean more local jobs. And that goes even further for our small businesses who want to be here and they want to stay here knowing that we have reliable infrastructure to transport their products and that customers can get reliable access into their businesses. All in all, we are bringing home to Kingston more than $2.4 million in funding. That's an increase of over $1.4 million compared to last year. And this is a map that we will share of the new initiative touring routes that will be covered with this funding. Our Mayor, Steve Noble, understands just how critical these investments are. So I'd like to shift it over to him to say a few